So today I'm going to be doing the on-water review of the Zion Creek. We're going to do one lap, switch out, do another lap, because technically one of the things with this design is the fact that you could own both and your hull would not change. You can kind of jump back and forth, which is awesome. So if somebody wanted to, they'd have their half slice, river runner to their creeker, and they could jump back and forth and not having to relearn your edges all over again. So inside their step out wall is a bar that you can hold on to, not just a hand grip. It's an actual like bar, like the shaft of a paddle. So I've got like a good handhold. Check out how I can really whip this boat around. I like how they made that step out pillar. So really good on that EXO on that, because see that right there, how I can lay it down. And as far as carrying it, it rests right in between that thigh brace and that tucked down rim. So it balances on my shoulder really well. You know, that worry about carrying boats, I think that's really good on how they did that. I like that right there. It'll kind of remind you of like how a Jackson carries a little bit. Not the biggest fan of this little rope. But yeah. I get why they do it. I think, yeah, that drain plug will not come out by itself. So I don't see it like hitting, but it possibly could break off. Yeah. You know, I go on about drain plugs way too much. Yeah, look at this guy's drain plug. See that? It looks like he's he's had a cat chewing on it.
I was about to say, I may have gotten a little version of it.
What's those little mittens? Look at those things.
Speaking of cats.
What are they called?
I think they're called the shittens from IR.
Everybody, these are called the shittens. You know what? That's not bad at all.
It's not bad, right?
I can tell you like this, if you're like me, you don't like having gloves at all.
I've never tried them. You want to try them?
Maybe. That's not bad. So here's the advantage of them.
Yeah, you can flip them up.
So it kind of like covers the thumb. You know what? That is actually a cool concept.
Yeah.
I don't think I've went down the dork hole enough to use them, but you know what? They look good. I think they're going to do their job.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I'm fully committed.
Okay, I put one large shim that he gave me in here, and that feels good for me. And I'm sitting around about 85 kilos right now. So for all of you Americans out there, I'm around about almost 190 at this point. I'm still in my hibernation weight. But this feels like a big medium. So if you think this is going to be a massive boat, even though it's a large, it feels kind of like to me it feels like a medium scorch, same size wise, which is a good spot to be for me for a large, because I'm always caught in between a large and a medium. I'm always in that weird large and medium, and I love these, everybody. These were in the Rexy and also in the Piranha Evo. These I think it's called what, cam cleat, and they work extremely well. Check it out. I go up. You think they give you enough rope? Look at that. They go up, and that feels really good. Bulkhead feels good and solid in there. Rim does not flex at all. You know what? Spade did that same thing. Had these big, huge gussets right here. I like that a lot. Manufacturers, if you're putting rims, if you're putting in mold-in thigh braces, check this out. This is screwed directly into that step-out pillar. And for whatever reason, EXO sends their boats right out of the factory in the farthest forward position. So I'm not going to adjust it. I'm just going to leave it there. So this is an XL level 6 Ace skirt, just so y'all know. And it fits perfectly. But I think a large skirt would work on here too. I just always like an XL skirt. So this thing has a slight edge on the back rail. They've got a rail that runs on the back, but there's not much of a rail on the bow. And that's exactly what I'm feeling. It's like the initial stability is really not there. You can feel how it kind of drops. So the secondary stability is really good on this thing. I can feel that. So just kind of like what I thought with having that hole, especially up in there, it kind of does that. This thing will have, it wants to do this really easy with you. So if you're not used to that, you better get used to it if you get you one of these.
Yeah, it's a pretty nimble boat.
Yeah, and because a lot of times I'm going through rapids like this, so I'm like driving like this, and then when I go back, I kind of go like that. So it's almost like the cockpit's back a little further.
Yeah.
Your actual seated position, if you look, is here, and I can reach all the way to the drain plug. I feel the scorch and code, you're right in the center, and they're the same length as this.
Yeah.
8, 9, 8, 10, right in there. See why they're shipping it with the seat forward, which makes sense, because if you started dragging that seat back, you'd be way back on it too much.
Yeah.
That bow stays up.
Yeah, I really do like the bow.
And it's not overly rockered.
No.
Like I said, I think they've done it because they've got all your weight back. Come in a little higher. Woo. That stayed pretty good. Woo. Hey, what up, buddy? Not too bad. Coming into 7 foot, try to ramp up on that. Woo! Whoa. That bow hits and goes. That was nice. I think that V helps just push the water out a little more. The seat moves from side to side just a little bit. I think I would foam out the outsides of the seat to kind of keep the seat from rocking so much. We hit this little micro eddy right here. I mistimed that big time. This one paddles a little different than what I'm used to. It's soft in that bow. Get out of there. I can feel the softness in the bow. This is always a decent little wave for like testing out on surfing. Not much pressure at all. See, watch when I lean forward how it separates more up there. Well, boy, if you give it a little bit of edge, I'm going to paint up. It's like you can lean back and just hold that rudder all day. Already I'm feeling that there's some kind of adjustment I'm gonna have to make on my Eddy Turns because it's a hybrid between soft and sharp. So far the large feels like it's spot on for me. Like, I feel like, I don't know how someone 245 would be in this. That'd be pushing it.
But we're working on something for that size.
Well, there you go. There you go. Especially the thighs. And the only thing is me, I'm not got overly thick thighs, but already, like you can see how it's kind of like pinched up there. And the height on this seat is pretty high. So I think it's lifting you up and it's pushing. But I think the good starting point on the large is 180. So right now it feels like the sizing's a little, I haven't been in a small, so I don't know, but right now it feels like they went a little small with the large. They went European sizes. Yeah. They didn't go American sizes. It gets up fast. Like, I like how you can get it up to speed quick. It starts planing out right under the knees. That's where I think its planing surface starts taking over. It's not like a super hard plastic, but it's not super soft. It feels like it kind of flexes a little bit, but not crazy soft, if that makes any sense. And the deck stalling looks good on this thing. I like how that deck stalling, but let me tell you guys, I'm noticing if I stop paddling, watch what it does almost immediately. And that's what Cooper was talking about, how you want to kind of keep an active blade and drive this boat. I could probably compensate it with doing a little bit of knee tilts. My sun's a little bright right here. Do the whip. Whip. There it was, off that back edge on that tail. Not too bad. Go for 360. Pretty solid. Knees just feel great in those thigh hookers.
Yeah, I like the simple outfitting.
There ain't much to go wrong with this, and if you break it on the river, it's just a rope. Can you get that boof at this level? This thing ramps off predictable, but it doesn't tail load with you. Like, I feel it shedded nicely back there. Go! So right away I can tell with the lack of rails up here, you want to do weight transitions very fast with this boat. You're not going to rely on just a rail for hitting those eddies. It goes so predictable over manky stuff. Woo! That went nice. Comes off quick. Interesting. It does kind of rock a little bit, but it comes out. That bow just stays up.
Yeah.
It feels like a modern meets kind of an old school boat. It really is kind of a mix of both. You definitely want to get a control of that tail or it will kind of whip out on you. resurface is predictable. The way the bow went down and popped up. Very predictable on its lift.
It releases off the water.
Yeah, I think it's that flat planing surface in the back.
Yeah.
It doesn't grab in, so I was able to keep the back. It was very predictable on its way out. All right, there it was, everybody. That's the full on water. So there's all the paddling here. So now for my final thoughts of this thing. So let me kind of tell you where I think this thing really shined. I liked the outfitting fit bomber in this thing. Very comfortable on the seating position, the outfitting, the thigh braces, all of that worked extremely well. The back band, the plastic feels good, feels solid, feels safe. The boat sizing feels kind of like a large medium. Kind of somewhere in between. You can kind of see the shape of the tail right there, how it kind of goes out. As far as like paddling downriver, very predictable on how it paddled downriver. It has this keel system in the front. I did cover that in my walkthrough. And what I had found was when I come off a drop, that keel system hits and the water disperses out to the side and it takes off. I think it works. When I lean it over, it's not like super stable, but it's like stability's like, the initial stability is not there, but then the secondary stability takes over. So if you're used to a secondary stability kayak, you'll love this thing. If you're used to like a big floating barge that kind of like just floats you and you can kind of set back, this is not the boat, because you will be constantly trying to correct it unless you get used to that. So this is one of these boats that likes to be driven, that doesn't want to, not a lazy man, kind of lean back and just float down the river, because I think you really want to drive this boat, and it paddles better on the back stern. I like how it paddled back there off of that tail, and that bow went up and over things really nicely. As far as going in and out of eddies, I think it could be a little crisper. It's not very crisp as far as eddies, but man, is it smooth going downriver. It's a very smooth paddling boat downriver that I feel that it can handle big water, it can handle creeking, it can handle a wide variety of things. And I think it's going to be suited for anyone that's looking for a good, well-rounded boat for everything. This doesn't, it didn't do anything that kind of like wowed me, where I was like, wow, that's just awesome. It just kind of like did everything really predictable and really well. So good job on EXO, good job on this Zion. I think they did. I think they nailed it on this. This is, and I love this color, by the way. I absolutely love this. They just call it green and black as far as the color. It looks really good. I would totally rock one of these. And I was telling Cooper, I was like, I would feel like this is one of these designs that I would paddle down anything, whether big water, steep creeking, big burly creeks. I feel like this thing would really start performing when you start pushing it on there. If I had to change one thing on this, I'd probably run that rail out a little longer. I think they could have extended that sharper rail out, and that way it would give you a little more crispness on this. And I think what they could have done is brought the cockpit forward a little bit. I feel like the entire seating position and cockpit is back. I feel like it's about 2 inches off. So if you move that cockpit position, now that would throw this boat all out of whack, but then you'd have the ability to adjust the seat, because right now where the seating position is right there on the very far forward. So you don't really have any more positioning to go forward. Can only go back with this boat. So with the outfitting, I can only go back. I can't really go any further forward, because where I'm at is exactly where I'd want to be at. But yeah, there it is, everybody. That's all I got on the, the on-water review of the Zion Creek. I will leave a link to the slalom coming up. So yeah, let's do some slalom. See y'all in the next video.